Hello, everybody, and welcome to the latest episode of the Without Context podcast. I am Decavolty, of course, joined by SharkyHat, and we have our guest to this week is Kevin, aka the Mysterious Butter GM, the current DM for Dummies and D20s.
Yep.
Hello.
It's Kevin.
Kevin.
We had plans. Plans fell through, and I reached out to Kevin, and he was so nice to come on to the podcast tonight.
Happy to help.
This is not beer, by the way.
This
is cream soda. I did almost get carded for it though when I was at Harris Teeter buying it because it looked like beer.
Oh man.
So yeah, we invited Kevin onto the show, and this episode we're probably just going to be talking about the experiences both of these gentlemen have had when it comes to uploading D&D content. Deca runs the Call of the Netherdeep campaign here on this channel, and Kevin is running the current campaign, the Naruto 5e campaign we are playing in over at Dummies and D20s, where I am a player. So I guess we'll start off with our guests like we always do.
I was gonna start off with like one of the things I do like about Dummies and the concept that we have about Dummies and D20s is that all of us, like, even after maybe the first real session, because you guys did session 0, even after the first real session of it, there's already a line of people like, hey, I can run this, I can run this, I can run this when you're done. Yeah, we can all run these things when you're done.
This is
a steady stream of content already ready.
This is my solution to not having an excuse to not play D&D anymore. Like, we are guaranteeing ourselves at least a session of D&D each week if everybody can be there.
It's definitely the Thanos. Fine, I'll do it myself.
Yeah, this is I want to play D&D. You know what? I'll force it. I'll make the content around it. But yeah, so we are 3 episodes into that. We do have a delay. I am going to post another video about it on Dummies and D20s as an update. We have a delay. People came down with illness on Sunday. We weren't able to get a session recorded then. And we also had plans for this weekend. You guys are watching this on Friday, so this Sunday we're not able to record then either. So the next episode is hopefully going to be on the 8th of October. So again, I'm going to put a video up on the Dummies and D20s for that. But if you're coming from there to here, that's just the update that we currently have on that. People got COVID, people got sick
on Wednesday.
Yeah, we are recording on Wednesday as we usually do.
Yep.
So Kevin.
Yes.
You run a lot of Dungeons and Dragons. I would say back when we were all living together, we ran what one would call an unhealthy amount of Dungeons and Dragons.
Absolutely.
Pretty much every day of the week had a session on it.
Sure did.
Between a rotating group of players. And so you have a lot of experience DMing for our little group, including some extended friends like Lindsay and Erica, who are also on Deca's game. And how have you taken to this, you're being recorded aspect of it now?
Well, good question. I think, so when we were doing it just, at the table, no recording, stuff like that, it was a very much like a learning space of like, okay, I need to learn rules, I need to learn like how do I do this, period.
Yeah. You also had more time because those sessions were like, since we all lived together, it was like 6-hour sessions.
8 hours like sessions, like monsters.
Yeah. So it was marathon sessions every fucking night. So
oh yeah, man, good grief. And so like back then I had the opportunity to GM kind of the first time. Because at first I was just a player. I didn't really want to do it. And I was like, I'll give it a shot. Sure, it sounds kind of fun. And here I am now. So
the debuting DM on a new channel.
Yeah, that was really exciting. Shout out to Dummies and D20s.
Don't worry, we'll do that.
Yeah. But I think the difference, I mean, like for recording, it's like I try to make sure I keep in mind, make sure people have enough time to speak. Because I know we have quieter players, so make sure they have they lift up their voices too, and make sure everyone kind of has like their time to do things, and try to speak, clearly as I can, because I have a faint accent when I get excited. Like my words blur together really easily, so I try to like be mindful of that too. Yep. And I also have slight breathing problems. So if you ever hear me like sniffling here and there, that's why.
There was a lot of sniffling on the last episode.
Deviated septum gang.
I was noticing. I was noticing that when I was editing session 2. I was like, "Is he sick?" Like,
it's just my breathing.
And that's kind of the other thing. That's the key difference is that between me and Butter is that I DM the thing and then I'll throw on my cursory edits and then I won't touch it for like 3 or 4 days while I'm over here at my partner's house. And then on Friday I'll hit it again with some edits and then I'll throw it up on YouTube. And then really all Sharky does with mine is just sticks a thumbnail, and his thumbnails are very good. I'm not taking that away from him. But compared to that, I've seen the work he does on the Naruto 5e. I'm like, dude, please just outsource this. I'm begging.
I'm trying, and if people had better rates than $2 per minute of footage when I'm giving them 4-hour videos, I would pay somebody to do it. But the fact is, it's like, hey, can you edit these videos for me? It is, 240 hours roughly. Of the first episode was like 4 hours, and then everything after has been like 2.5. So it's like, I really don't feel like paying $300 for an edit, like when I can just do it myself over 2 days. Not until we start making money. Like that's the thing. If we can get lucky and start having an income, I will hire a team of editors. I don't want to do more than I have to. But right now it's a new channel, so we're just kind of doing what we can with it.
Yeah, we're growing. It's all good.
Yeah, we're growing, and we have it's been a great response too. Like just everybody, including friends of Kev's that I don't know. They're like, "Hey, when's the next episode?"
Yeah, yeah. I got messaged like, "Where's my fix, Kev?" I was like, "Hold on, give me a second." That's been really nice.
So yeah, it's definitely you've been DMing games like on and off for a while. You have some of your own like long running stuff with a secondary group of people, and I know those sessions go for a few hours longer than the recorded ones do. So it's like, do you have to get yourself into that mindset of you're like, all right, I got like 2.5 hours to do this. What can we get through?
Oh yeah, I'm used to I try to keep in mind the time limit. I'm like, okay, I can't do my usual like bigger episode thing. So I'm like, let me tone it down and hit the key points we need to hit before me getting letting just like a conversation go off or like a huge shopping trip,
Yeah.
Just like try to concise it a little bit.
And stick the shopping trips in like roleplay. Like, nah, you could throw that in roleplay, it's fine.
And I guess it comes also with the addition that we've kind of like limited ourselves. It's like, all right, 10-ish episodes. Let's not make these like long running things. Let's just make a bunch of these like shorter series where we can tell a pretty concise story and we'll move on to the next series. So it's like keeping in mind, you have all these story beats you want to hit in like 2.5 months of uploads.
Yeah.
So,
and I find
definitely a thing.
Yeah, and I call them the chronicle format, but yeah, like the shorter, like the episodes, like up to 10, stuff like that. Like it's interesting too because it in the back of your mind, at least for me, it makes me kind of conscious of, okay, what episode are we on? Okay, and kind of like keeping pace of like things we want to hit. So like we're kind of moving at a good pace, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
What I like about what I've done is I don't recap with my players anymore. Instead, what I've started to do is take like 6-7 minutes to the beginning and be like, "Here's what happened in the last session." I've started to like doing that because it helps me to remember. I'll do it. I'll make the video maybe on the Friday before session to keep me fresh of what happened. And then if there's been role playing like there has been going on, I'll update after session and be like, okay, this is what happened. They did some role playing, so this is kind of what happened, and this is where we're jumping in. I like doing that. Like I said, it helps me get back into the game of like, okay, I've been away for 3 or 4 days. This is me getting back into the swing of things, and I'll take that Friday, Saturday, and part of that Sunday, and I'll go from that to the game itself, and then a few edits here and there, and then I'll get back onto editing when I get back. That's my cycle, and that's probably going to change when I actually start working. Which I can announce that I got a job. Woo!
You did. This is the first podcast where Deca has a job.
No shit.
So, kind of a nice little change of pace, but hopefully it doesn't affect our ability to get these episodes out. I also have to find another host.
Truth be told, it shouldn't, because I get out at 3 p.m. my time, and the podcast doesn't start till 5 p.m. my time. So in theory, we should be good.
We should be good.
Overtime is a thing that I have learned. So we'll see.
That's our little corner of Deca's real life. So
yeah.
But yeah, so I know personally, like from spending time with Kevin, having lived with him and everything too, you have this ability to tell like these incredibly good stories in like short sessions, and then completely like blow people away with like these 6-hour sessions that you do too.
Thank
and
you.
How do you gauge like that kind of stuff? You're like, all right, I have a time, but I want this to be like a bombastic session. So what do I do here?
Okay, so you already know, because we talked about it before. So growing up, I super loved like stuff like really big bombastic stuff like, for example, Sonic games having like the epic rock chorus for the final battle and all kind of stuff. So when I'm doing games and having those like big bombastic or emotional moments, honestly, it's like having a pulse on the players, kind of like what the choices that they're making and stuff like that, and kind of seeing like NPCs they've met or anything like that. So like when it starts heading toward like an emotional beat or like a big moment, it's a little easier to kind of account for it because the players make it easy because you can kind of see where they want to go or like kind of where, and you kind of guide that really more than anything.
Yeah. It's
more of the same here.
Yeah, Kevin and I have a shared kinship of this is when I realized I like rock music in my combat, and it's just the final boss fight from Sonic Adventure 2.
Yep.
When they're
live and learn, represent.
Where they're just in space fighting a giant lizard that's trying to crash onto Earth. It's like, yeah, this is cool.
It's such a wild. It's such a wild final battle, but with that song that's playing, you're just so in it. Like,
and even now, like Kevin and I will still message each other, and it's like, even during the magical teen game that we played as like a one shot right now, it's like, hey Kev, can I send you a song I want to play? And I just send him a song from Metal Gear Rising.
I was like, absolutely, yes,
absolutely, to play during my turn.
And it was awesome.
And I know comments that some of you guys receive sometimes. It's like, you guys talk about the music, but I can't hear the music. And it's like, because it's
there's a lot of copyright
we're not
music.
Messing with that.
So I actively turn that down for right now.
Yeah, that's mostly for the players' benefit.
Yeah. When it comes to, at least for this campaign, we're going to just use the music that we want to play. I think while my campaign's running, Kevin will have more time to compile like copyright-free music that he might want to use. And I think we're going to probably start moving into more, copyright-free stuff so I can actually include that in the video.
Oh, yeah.
Which is why I go through the effort to edit and kind of remove like these period of dead silence because there's nothing playing. So I just don't want it to like sit there for 10 or 15 seconds, nobody saying anything, and then something being said, and then another 5 or 10 seconds of silence, and then it's like, okay, here's what I'm going to do. If there was more music, if there was music that we could play that I wasn't scared of being copyright hit for, I would turn it up a little bit more to fill that silence, but it's kind of the trade-off we have right now.
So I have a folder on my Facebook that's just bullshit I whip up in Premiere, and it has all of the intros and overlays and stuff that I've made. And every time I've posted like a new version of my intro or outro, I've gotten copyright flagged, even though I don't get copyright flagged on YouTube. It's just that YouTube is or Facebook is like, hey, we can't get the copyright for these countries. I'm like looking at the country list of like, I don't care about these countries. It's fine.
Yeah.
These countries don't matter to me.
It's because I guess the way the copyright works is that it's because it's limited use, I think is what they call it, because it's the music from that Riot Games puts out for in this case they put out for Star Guardian Talia.
That's
like I use a couple of tracks from that. I was like, I listened to it the first time. I was like, this is the vibe I want.
I mean, that's the same thing. We've used those songs. We've used the Star Guardian songs in a lot of our games.
Yeah. And
they're really good.
Like I used the first one, the first song that comes out, because that's my intro, and then I use the song Side to Side as it's my new intro right now.
It's like,
and
you just slap Hiroyuki Sanada onto something, and it's just like,
bro, I would be so
Kevin
happy.
Like sliding into the frame, and he's like, I'm just gonna take this. Like,
dude, oh my gosh. Anything Hiroyuki Sawano, I'm there.
Yeah. But out of more of the game side of it, and like how you generally prepare like sessions, considering now you have a time limit, is not the free form like just a normal like Thursday game is for you. When I asked you to DM for this and it was going to be recorded, like what was your first like reaction to that?
It was a mixture of nervousness and then excitement.
It's like, hey, you're the first series on this channel. We have never done this.
I was like, oh, cool, setting the bar, I guess. Okay, I'll put my best foot forward.
And then just like, whenever I leave, it's like the crouching with like the wipe, just, oh no. And Deca, what, I can't remember when we talked about it, what brought up, or when you were first sitting down to record, like, did anybody know you were going to record it from that first session?
So I specifically didn't record session 0 because that was gonna be just a little too intimate. But I do, whenever I do my recap video, be like, hey, by the way, we've done the session 0, we've done the lines of veils, we're gonna respect it. So I think we were aware from the beginning that yes, it was going to be recorded. But even I was sitting there like, I'm not gonna fucking record it.
You're like,
even though I have like the full, I have the full Adobe suite, to play with, because but I looked at it as like, fuck, I gotta learn Premiere, I guess. So just kind of like slamming my face into Premiere and seeing what happens.
Yeah, and I like the existence of Dummies D20s because my own stuff has kind of taken kind of a backseat to a lot of stuff. So just having this like one thing to do each week, play D&D, which I didn't get to do often because I was running the campaign for the longest time. And then it's like, edit it, upload it. It's like, cool, I'm fulfilling that like creative side of me where I want to make the content and get it up and all that. So it's like, yeah, so you can stop editing stuff, and it's like, no, I can't, because my mind's like, I need to have my hands like doing this. I don't trust anybody else to do it. It's like, I don't trust anybody else to do this correctly.
As far as me, I'm enjoying the learning process of, okay, slap the tracks on. I slap all the tracks on, make sure they're all sized correctly, and then I've been learning that that's important to have them sized correctly.
Yeah, you should get a small little image with like a giant black.
Super zoomed in, like,
why
does my outro look like that? Oh, I have to fucking change the scale.
Yeah, it's like, oh, this is a 720p, not a 1080. So
yeah. So I've really enjoyed the process of making sure that it's a nice creative outlet for me, like you're saying. I do wish sometimes that I just knew the thing, but also I think I enjoy the process of learning, and by which I mean, and this is free advice to everybody else who would like to learn, is go find a YouTube video, because there's stuff like 2-minute what's it called? It's not 2-minute tabletop. It's 2 minutes something else. 2-minute tutorial. who they'll show you how to do a thing in 2 minutes, and stuff like that. There's a bunch of resources out there that you can use to, like me, and suddenly you're busting out videos on a YouTube channel.
Yeah, there's basically a YouTube video for everything.
Yes, there is. There is literally a YouTube video for everything.
So one thing I wanted to ask both of you, considering now that this content is out there, that there are people that we don't know watching, that people we don't know are judging, play style or DM style, and you all of us have gotten from our players, great session, I've really enjoyed all of this and everything. How does it feel when a total stranger is like, I like this content, I like what you all are doing, and it's just like somebody who doesn't even know the ins and outs of the group like we do, and it's just like, this is great.
Pretty good, like you're saying.
Yeah.
I want to find some of those comments again. Where is it? There's a couple that are like, just for the without context, YouTuber, like, great job, keep up the work.
Yeah,
like,
just
all right.
And it's like Kev, like looking at the Dummies and D20s, like all the videos up there are just like unanimous likes. Like nobody's come in and was like dislike, which is shocking because I've had that happening to my channel for a while. It's just somebody randomly coming in and disliking like the last 5 videos for no reason.
Record shot for no reason.
Yeah, just like, okay, I guess thanks for the interaction. It's just but it's just seeing like all these like all the support from people who aren't even like in the, I guess, circle that we all play these games through. And it's like, man, I'm really enjoying this. It's like, I kind of feel, I would say, validating as like a DM.
Oh yeah, it's very validating. It's endlessly flattering because it's a some stranger just like, hey, this is pretty cool. You're like, thank you. I think it's pretty cool too.
It's pretty cool as well.
Yeah.
And just like getting messages from like outside circle friends, it's like, hey, when's the next one? Like having that like level of anticipation from people is just,
gosh, it's like it's new, honestly, a new feeling, really.
There's also the ones from like the ones from the Fanon episode we did for the podcast, where it's like,
yeah,
I accidentally clicked on this. You guys are so nice and warm-hearted. Keep this up.
yeah, it's just like, I accidentally clicked on this video, but I liked it. Like,
thanks for being here, like
yeah,
when I all of our comments from without context got deleted because YouTube has this thing where if I make a channel and like give somebody control, it shows up as a brand instead of like that channel's channel. So I had to move it to the channel's channel, and it's like, we can keep everything except the comments you made. And I'm like, that makes no sense, but okay. Like,
Yeah.
How can you literally keep everything else
Weird.
about this video except my comments? So I know there are people who are probably watching this video or probably watching videos on Dummies and D20s who saw comments from us on some of their comments, and now those comments are just gone. That was me. I did that, but I did that over the weekend. So sorry about that.
Yeah.
But
all good.
So with this now, Kev, this whole, hey, we're finally getting into this scene of actual play or live play. I don't know what the more up-to-date term with it is.
APs.
Yeah, because I was hearing like live plays and videos earlier, and I was like, oh shit, am I tagging my stuff wrong? Like on these videos, is that why we're not?
I'm behind on the meta.
I'm behind on the meta. I don't know the actual play meta.
Well, first you gotta make a BF sword.
Charlie, quit trying to get me to play League. I know he's watching this.
to RiftDuck, stop getting him to play League.
Yeah, it's like quit it. He's like, do you want to play League with us? Like, I do not. He's like, come on. It's like, no, I do not want to play this game anymore. No, this game has taken enough time from me.
I will.
With, I guess, the responses from both series and everything, are you guys already like thinking about like what can we do after this? Because I know with at least Dummies and D20s, when Kevin's done, it goes to me. to run my game, which gives Kevin time to play and also prepare feature stuff, either the West Marches that we'll be getting to briefly to talk about, or anything post post next campaign. Are you already having like ideas float around for systems and games and all that?
Absolutely.
I definitely want to run a different system. Yes, I definitely want to run another system. I think in the time before, like, I guess I'm just doing this. I think in the time before I go to like another campaign, I want to do a handful of like one shots with different people. I have a game that is made specifically for one shots that I would love to play with everybody, or just different groups of people every week, just to have like a fun. I think that would be a fun exercise in creative writing and storytelling and improvisation for sure.
Yeah,
and
I
being
know,
able to yes and people.
Yeah, and I know our server, we have a lot of people who are brought in that are interested in D&D, so definitely want to get them into games, even if just one shot, if they're comfortable like being on camera with it.
Mm-hmm.
It would be a fun way to kind of show like, it's like, you don't have to be afraid to play D&D, because here's what other new players are like. Like, sure, they're on camera, but they're still learning the game. And you got a DM leading it, you got some experienced players thrown into the mix.
I think that's what I like about my game in particular, because I have a brand new player.
Yeah, we have a Tasha.
Yeah, Tasha, and I made that table. I say this all the time. I picked players who I knew were going to be combative. Not is not the right word, but like the correct way to like ease somebody into D&D.
Yeah.
That will ease each other into like role playing experiences around them. And I always tell her, hey, you belong here as much as everyone else here. If you want to jump in and have a scene, do it. Everyone else will back off. I guarantee you.
Yeah, and I know, Kev, you have experience with me, Lindsay, and Erica as like core players in your circle. Were you prepared for the addition of Alvin and Charlie and Echo into your mix?
AKA one brain cell.
So having played with them, I think I knew what to expect.
Yeah.
But it was still a pleasant surprise. It's how they play. Like Alvin is just so off the wall. Like he's ready to go immediately.
I think Alvin's Facebook post was. I think Alvin's Facebook post when we started this was, "I get to play D&D, or I'm crossing Naruto and D&D. I'm living my weeb dream."
Like he chose Namikaze, so he's like super fast like character. So yeah, I think he's having a good time. I think everyone's pretty great, honestly.
Yeah, everybody's characters are kind of unique in ways, and have their own. They all feel like very individual to each other. There's no real like overlap in character ideas, aside, I guess, from when Kaminari gets powered up with certain jutsus, he can kind of compare to the speed of Kosuke, but Kosuke still outruns him.
Oh yeah, he goes full Pikachu.
Yeah. And like playing with all of you and like all the players that you have, like having guided all of you through games, I know what to expect with certain individuals and all that. And so I'm interested in the next group of people that we're playing with, which have a few of the GMs, like Kevin. I was just like a small teaser, like Kevin will be playing in my game. We have Lindsay, who's like always seemingly included in every campaign.
Yeah, she just ride or die, man.
It's just like, hey, Lindsay, do you want to play D&D? And it's like she's already at the table with a notebook and a pen, ready to go.
She's ready, yeah, always.
A notebook, pen, and a D20, and like several D20s.
And
I made it.
I know that the character was kind of off the wall because it was kind of a more of a relaxed campaign, but I'm curious to see what Mike can do in a more of like a focused, like serious game. Like I'm really interested to see like how playing something other than Doc Green is going to like show up. He's probably the person I'm like most excited to play with again.
Oh yeah, definitely. I'm excited to see what it does too.
Yeah, it's like
I'm interested.
I'm interested because like I know how crazy you can be, but I've also like spoken to some of the other players, and I was like, don't make it too crazy. And he's like, I am absolutely not going to make it Doc Green anymore. So I'm curious with my little bunch of goblins what you guys are going to do in my campaign when we get to that road.
I think one of the other things, it's not going to be recorded, but like one of the other things I'm excited for is some of the other people who are going to DM besides myself and Butter, like Haley going to do the beach one shot at some point.
Yeah, I mean, we've gotten to, I guess, that point in the group now too, where the 3 like constant DMs are starting to play in other players' games now.
Get to play Salvador again.
Yeah, Haley
at the beach.
Yeah, I mean, it's not going to be recorded, but Haley's throwing her session where all of us are going to be, playing in it. And Lindsay in her own server has started DMing, like she finally started it.
Yeah.
She's pretty good too, honestly.
Yeah, and I mean, that's what I'm excited about. And that's what I hope like this channel turns into, like I hope one day down the line, Lindsay's like, hey, I have an idea. I want to DM something for the channel.
Oh yeah.
Or,
go on.
Alvin or Alvin or Charlie or Erica are just like, hey, I have an idea. Can we, do this afterwards? Like, I want to get that channel to the point of where it's like, hey, we have a multitude of DMs. I want to bring in like guest DMs. Like, I want to get Luke to like run a game or something on the channel.
Yeah.
And just build up this like outreaching community of like communities that Deca and I are in, communities that you're in. Just kind of
build
like,
up.
Hey,
I
like,
would love to have Pyrrha as a DM.
I'd love to have Pyrotechnics as a DM. Just like get it onto that channel, and just be like, hey, this is our channel.
I just had that idea. I was like, holy shit, we can do that.
We could if you had time. I would love to play with Pyrrha. He's a cool guy. Mm-hmm. Anybody who fights Thorin on Twitter is a friend of mine.
But yeah, it's just steadily growing, and that's so exciting to see, honestly.
Yeah, it's wild. It's like, because when I first started, it was you, Mike, Lindsay, Erica, and Deca. I think you guys were my original players.
Yes.
And then it was like, hey, I got this other group of Deca, Glitter, Charlie, Echo. And it's like, okay, cool. So the group's kind of building up, and then it's like, smush them together, and it's like, oh, here's Haley. Here's a new person. And it's like, oh, here's Jenny, who's playing Bang. Here's a new person. And it's just like, it begins. The gathering begins. And now we have like 6 guest players who are interested in like D&D or in some way like want to play. And I'm like, good. Let's bring them in. But so continuing on, so we have the 2 different sides of it here. We have Deca, who's running a module.
Yep.
And we have Kev, who's homebrewing something.
I want to ask about that, actually.
Yeah.
Because I've seen people who run, say, Esper Genesis, which is like 5e in space.
I have those books.
They're really good. Alligator Alley, shout out to them. Anyway, there are modules for that system. Is this? Did you find and receive inspiration from some sort of Naruto 5e?
Is there a module? Because I know this was all made by like one guy.
Yes, there are modules.
There has to be. Yes.
There's 2. Okay. Yeah, because I was like, this guy made like all of the books and everything, and I was like, did he write an adventure for this?
Oh yeah, shout out to King. He's a monster. He's going ham on it. Dude.
And yeah, the community for that is in the description on those videos too. So it's like, yeah, go invade there and tell them SharkyHat sent you, and then they'll be like, who?
So they'll be like, who? And then you link the YouTube, and that's our plan all along. Did you receive any inspiration from those modules, or are you just like completely separated from them?
So yes, there aren't modules, but no. This is all from my head. Yeah. So I started when I started GMing, I started with homebrew because I didn't know there was really books I could use. So I just like, okay, I'll just do my own thing. And I started there and kind of just stayed there, really, like doing like different homebrew settings I really like that are based on like different things that I like Hollow Knight and all that kind of stuff. So yeah, so with this was just my own little brainchild in like a world setting I made.
Yeah, what
Argue.
for D&D, what settings have you used? Like, what existing settings? I know you did a Dragon Age. I know you're doing like a Final Fantasy ongoing one. You're running this Naruto one for us. What other franchises have you done again?
Oh man,
I know you did a Sonic one. You had the character. You had the party build Sonic characters.
They actually had a lot of fun with that too.
So it just seems like you're like the theme GM. You're like, here's the franchise this week. Let's go.
Yeah, like basically pick a franchise, have something based off it, and just like take some races from it and go for it. You know. So I've done. Let me see. I've done Legend of Zelda.
Wait, that was another one of your long running ones, right?
Yeah, that was my first long running one. It's somewhere on YouTube.
Did Lindsay play in that one?
No, this is before I met Lindsay. So this is like an old group that we all kind of like separated through life and stuff like that.
This was back in this was during the house one because you'd go upstairs.
Yep, that's right.
So you'd have to go upstairs to get away from us while we.
It's like a good GM.
While we're a bunch of rambunctious mid-20-year-olds living together unsupervised.
Every time someone talks about their house with a bunch of 20-year-olds, because I didn't have that experience.
There were 9 of us.
And every time someone talks about it, I think of that one Vine where that dude just falls off the second story of the house into a table.
Yeah.
That's not inaccurate, I'll be honest with you.
There was a point in the house, we had a whiteboard because we had parties like every other weekend. And the whiteboard would have to be reset because it would be parties without somebody throwing up. So
Jesus.
It was a
wild time.
It was like everybody in that house, aside from a few people, were like 24 to 30 at the time. So
yeah. So this went off the wall a little.
There were like 9 of us living in that house, and it was a great time. We got a lot of D&D played.
Yeah, for real. Oh, I will say, so something I do want to run that is, I guess, a module is Humblewood.
Humblewood is good. I love Humblewood.
Yeah, I really want to do that because it's adorable, and I will think I have a lot of fun with that.
I made my one and only dexterity based paladin because I could do that with that race combination. Ayose Corazon. He was an Oath of the Watcher's paladin.
That's awesome.
Yeah, Humblewood reminds me of World Tree. Yes. That Jake or Sean tried to run.
Yeah.
See, I like D&D because there's not a lot of math involved with a lot of stuff.
World Tree was all math.
But then again, aside from like a few 3.5 games that I played over the years, I played like 2 or 3, totaling probably like 4 sessions.
Mm-hmm.
And it was like, hey, I'm going to get into tabletop, and we're going to get into tabletop with Theo's game in the Anima system.
I was going to say Anima was probably the worst offender.
It's like, so how do you make a character? And it's like, do you know calculus?
Literally.
It's like,
I was like, did you mean Shadowrun?
It is probably worse because also I think the books are translated to English, not printed in English. Ooh. So
yeah, it was.
They're not even wrong.
Anima can be fun, but it was rough.
I don't think those books are in print anymore either. So
I don't think so.
That's an ancient fucking system.
Yeah,
but yeah, I was like, I'm the weakest character in this party because I have no idea how to build this fucking character. Like, I don't know what I'm doing.
I had to have mine built for me, and I still don't know how to use them by the end. Like, it's
just like a mess. It was somebody was like, we're gonna let you do everything, but then the rule set has to account for everything.
Because what? It was like if you rolled over a certain thing, it was like speed.
It was a D100, right?
Yeah, D100. And if you rolled like a certain thing over like a certain like threshold, and you were trying to run or something, you would go around the world, legitimately.
Yeah, the idea of it was like you are stupidly strong. It's like you are like divine, like things.
I was like, that's a lot.
And I'm like, we did it. We finished it.
We did.
So we can at least call it finished on that one. And some of the characters have carried over, through the years into like NPCs and other games.
That was a wild game.
Well, I can't remember. What was your first 5e game with us? Was it my game or was it Jake's game?
I think it was yours.
Yeah, it was probably the Black Company game. That was the one, like, I think when we moved in to the house, I was like, hey, we're starting D&D. And I was like,
okay.
That was the first one that was run. And this was like, I think right after you found Critical Role.
Yeah, it was like maybe a week after the first episode I saw of Critical Role, and I was like, okay, I know some things, I guess. Let's do it.
You're like, I want to play D&D. And then the house was like, we're going to play D&D. And then I'm like, shit, I got to run D&D.
So, yep. That's how it started.
Well, we started with Pathfinder. That was the thing. We started with Pathfinder First Edition because I was familiar with 3.5, and I think Jake was familiar with 3.5.
Yeah.
And then it was like, okay, I made a mistake because I started you guys at like level 6 in 3.5.
Yeah, no, we were,
which means you're already demigods. So
we were monsters with mid-maxers in the party. So
yeah, we had a few min-maxers. That was the first game. Actually, that was the episodic one, and then we switched to 5e, and I started the new campaign. So that's how that went. So yeah, we started with Pathfinder, and I don't want to go back to original Pathfinder if I can help it.
Yeah,
so
even the 2e book I'm looking at, like, I can take stuff from here, but I don't want to.
I'm seeing so much discourse on Twitter when it comes to Pathfinder 2nd edition compared to 5e. And It's like Pathfinder, like 2e stands are just like shit talking 5e, and I'm like, this is the fucking, like, why? It's more complicated 5e. Like, it's not anything special. It's 5e with more math.
Can't we all get along, friends?
But they did do something right, and the one D&D proved that putting the spells into nature, divine, and arcane is just a simpler way of doing things.
Yes, it truly is.
Just quit trying to make these individual spell lists. Just give a class the access to that list.
Yeah.
It's like, thank God, that's a good fix. Can't wait to see how that plays out.
I remember that being like, when I saw that, I was like, hey, Sharky, they did the thing.
And I like logged on. I was like, they did the thing. Like, the thing that I was killing myself trying to accomplish on my own.
Also, I will say this, no one's made it, I am pretty sure. And if I make it, I might be the first one. But damn it, I want to do a Skies of Arcadia thing, because I love Skies of Arcadia. 5 other people in the world know about it.
It has to exist. It has to exist.
I just like the confidence, like, me and 5 other people.
Because, like, I only met 5 other people that know about it in my lifetime.
I'm going to look it up right now. I'm going to look up Skies of Arcadia D&D.
Interesting.
And I'm just going to see.
I found a GameSpot article.
Oh, I found I found some stuff. It looks like it looks like there's a channel. So you're not the first one. You're not the first one, but apparently, like, some people have tried it. I don't know if they've kept to it. Let me see here.
Dang it.
This is the crack research we do here on this show.
There's a DM Academy post.
It's such a fun. It'd be such a fun world.
Is a Skies of Arcadia-esque setting.
It looks like oh no, never mind. That's weird. It's actually just, I don't know. This guy's YouTube channel's very unorganized. Anyway. But
put that away.
I'll have to check that out later. But yeah, so you're just like, let's just reach into these classic RPGs that I've played.
Yes, absolutely. Because Skies of Arcadia would be such a fun world setting, because it's like, it's a world that's like lifted up above the clouds, right? And like, the world ended once. Everything is buried under, like, what I can just call this dank fog at the bottom of the world, basically. You don't go in there. If you go in there, you die.
The miasma.
It's full. Yeah, it's full of leviathans and like all kind of terrible things. And then you have different sky islands that like are under these different moons, and the moons basically control like the kind of magic in that part of the world. So like the green moon is like healing in nature. The blue moon is water and flow. It's like, it'd be so cool. Sorry.
The gravitational field of that planet's fucked.
Absolutely, yes.
I have played in a game that is now that you're describing the game, it sounds a lot like a game I've played in with a couple of friends. So yeah, you're maybe one of 5, but I've played with one of the other 4.
Good, they're out there somewhere.
So yeah, it's like we all have our kind of theme. It's like Kev's like, I'm gonna take these established worlds that I love, and I'm just gonna make a D&D campaign out of it. And then you're like me, and it's just like, I like that idea. Just throw that down there. It's just
put that in the gumbo.
Like, where does this fit in the world? I don't know. I just want it in there. Like,
yeah. Like I go for something that I like and then make a unique setting in it, basically.
And it's not always
separate from the canon.
Yeah, it's like it's not always in the canon either. So it's like we're playing Naruto, but it's like AU like Naruto, where it's like here's a different world than what Naruto is. It's just the same concepts. And then
here's what happened if Pain won.
Yeah, so it's just like, well, no, it's like not even like stuff like that. It's like here's a whole new timeline set in this universe.
Yeah, different world completely, like all that stuff. Yeah.
Just same
legally distinct.
Naruto.
Legally distinct. That's how I do all my things.
So then it's like, yeah, I just take tropes and like fantasy concepts that I like, and I just kind of smash them into a world together. And it's like, do they fit? I don't know, but I'm figuring it out. Then from most of what I've seen for Deca, at least here on the channel, it's like it's a module, and then you play for you DM for Dire Bear, which
sometimes I do.
Were you running modules for them too?
No, so when I do stuff for Dire Bear, it's usually like I usually play a particular game called You Awaken in a Strange Place, because I can call 3 people and be like, "Hey, I want you 3 in this game." I have somebody else doing overlays, so I don't have to worry about that. It's more professionally produced than what I can do. And there's a guy who's like flipping the switches in the background.
Yeah, I don't have a cameraman. Everything's recorded from my end, so.
And the game is all about like the players and the GM creating the world, and then the GM makes an adventure, and then in like 10 minutes, and then you play the adventure.
Yeah,
you world build for like 30 minutes. You make an adventure for 10, and then you play for the other hour 20.
That's why
2 hours 20.
New systems will be fun. So I know we've mentioned it and talked about it. Like some of us want to run Hunter the Reckoning games. Some of us want to run Vampire the Masquerade. I got a bunch of other systems that I should probably look at to see what's fun. It's like, you have any other systems you'd want to run, Kev?
Oh, absolutely. Most likely Cypher. Cypher's pretty fun.
We are playing
in Cypher. I don't like that they're like, hey, to use this character sheet, you're gonna need a fuckload of sticky notes. I'm like, I'm not really vibing with that.
I just use a notepad, open on my other monitor whenever we played, where I just wrote down whatever.
Look at you with your other fucking notepad, Sharky.
Your
other monitor.
It's actually coming from a laptop because he's not home right now.
Yeah.
Oh, and I will say, so probably Cypher, also Call of Cthulhu. I definitely want to play more of that.
Yeah, Call of Cthulhu was fun. I think it was.
We had a banger game.
Well, it was me and Lindsay. I think we're the only 2 left, or there was one other person.
It was you, Lindsay, and Jade's character.
Yeah, it was a Jade. Yeah, it's like 6 or 7 of us went in, 3 of us walked out.
So.
I think I like watching Call of Cthulhu more than I would like participating in it. I watch Becca Scott, her Good Time Society, where she runs Call of Cthulhu games. And they spend like the first 20 minutes while they're doing introductions just completely shitting on the guy.
Yeah, I mean, like, as you should.
As you should. That's what I would do if I were to run a Call of Cthulhu game. Is I'd spend the first like 20 minutes being like, "Hey, this is our players. This is what's going on." Also, fuck that guy.
The long running joke is we don't even mention him by name. All of his work was written by Hatsune Miku. That's the long running joke.
Prolific VTuber Hatsune Miku.
Prolific VTuber Hatsune Miku wrote the Call of Cthulhu.
It's true.
We don't even say his name around here.
Ask the internet. It is true.
Jet.
Oh, that was good. Yeah, so yeah,
Jet.
that guy can go fuck himself.
It's just, I love living right next to an airbase.
I didn't hear shit, so
My microphone must be really fucking good then.
yeah.
On this detection, but
that what do you call it? The Discord filter be bussin'.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to tell that story on another podcast of how it's like, hey,
no.
I signed up for this thing called Crisp, and I want to see if it helps the audio quality. And then Charlie just messages me, you know, that's built into Discord, right? And I was like, what? And I go into settings and I just see it right there beneath the thing. It's just like, would you like to use Chris audio for like noise cancellation? I'm like, yeah, I would. Like,
thank you.
Thank you. Other systems that I would want to run. Like, I do want to run a hunter game. I really do. I like the system of vampire and hunter. And I like the world that it, like, you know, the world that it presents. So I think that could be a very fun game to play, especially when people start tapping into, you know, the different types of hunters. You could go from anywhere between like the military unit to the Winchester brothers to Buffy. It's just like you can get all these different types of styles into it, which could be very fun.
I like Monster of the Week, the Powered by the Apocalypse game, because it's much less in depth than Hunter the Reckoning or any of those games, but you can play into those tropes. Where some of the playbooks is literally just the Doctor from Doctor Who, or like the Winchester brothers, or someone from Buffy the Vampire Slayer, or something like that.
I do like that in the Powered by the Apocalypse stuff. Mm-hmm. It's like, hey, you don't get to make a character. Here's your thing. This is what you can do. And I don't know, Kev, have you played any Powered by the Apocalypse games?
I have not yet.
Yeah, their character style is unique because it's not. I don't think you have any character creation control, right? Aside from picking.
So you have character creation control with most of them. Most of the ones you do, you pick the playbook. It tells you, and from picking the playbook, it tells you what to do. So it'll give you, this is your health track. You pick 2 of these abilities, and you choose the way your modifiers are set up initially.
Yeah, and every playbook gives you a different feel of a character, like a different play style. Like I think we played Starhold.
Yeah.
Where somebody was like, you know, the data hacker.
And you have played Powered by the Apocalypse game.
It's like
you were in my Starhard game.
Yeah, it's like the data hacker, and then I think I was playing like the heavy like military guy who had the armor and the weapons. So everybody like felt different based on their playbooks. So that could be a
kid with a dog.
So that could be fun stuff to do, especially with how simple it is to set that up, and then it just comes down to playing. It's a D6 system.
2D6.
2D6. Yeah, so D6 system. Simple too for when it comes to rolls.
You roll 2 dice. You get over a 6 total, and you're good. Mostly.
Yeah. So we have these complex systems like Pathfinder. And then we have these understandable systems like 5e, and then it's just like, here's just 2 D6s. Go have fun. Like.
Yeah.
that's how You Awaken in a Strange Place plays too. It's 2d6. But it's even more bare bones than Powered by the Apocalypse games, and that'll make more sense when we get to that.
It's like, shit, the channel's called Dummies and D20s. We need to play a D20 system.
No, you don't.
Or else this name doesn't make sense.
You can play the Fallout RPG. It's a 2d20 system.
Oh god. But
I don't know how that works.
Yeah, we're kind of coming up on the hour now. This was kind of more just a laid back episode for conversation. We had a guest set aside, but you know, unfortunately, scheduling changed out of our control, out of their control. So
Don't worry, we're gonna get them at some point.
Related to this episode, so that's a little teaser. Kind of related to this episode.
Just a little bit.
A little bit. So I guess that episode could be like part 2 of this 2-parter. But yeah, so Kevin, thank you for joining us today.
Yeah.
It was great talking to you. Great talking to you, and everybody can check out Kevin's DMing and mine and a few other players, over at Dummies and D20s, where we're playing as Naruto characters, embracing our weeby selves. Kevin will be playing in the next Dummies and D20s campaign. He has guest appeared in Deca's game. I was
going to ask about that actually. What did you think about that? About when we you're already fucking closing out. There was a connection here that we didn't address.
There was a connection we did not address.
So you guessed it in my game. How did you feel that went now that you've had some time to like digest, your time there?
Oh, I think it went pretty well, honestly. It was fun to like have him discover the character and him just kind of tag along for a little bit. They were capable, thankfully, so didn't have to save anyone's butt too much. But I think that was pretty fun.
He took Kai, one of the Duck's characters' brother. He's like, "Hey, I'll go train him with the Slayer's take." Come on, buddy.
Oh yeah, I was like, "This is gonna be a fun thing later." Come on.
Yeah. So
I put a pin in that for later.
Let's just stick a pin in that. We'll get back to that.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, so you're going to see a lot of us through different channels and everything. Deca, as I said, is currently DMing a game. Kevin is currently DMing a game. I'm currently playing in one of those games. I will be DMing after. You guys can find me sometimes over at the game room, who's, I'm always happy to shout out because I love that community. Oh shit, we didn't even have time to talk about the West March game that Kev was planning. But because that's the thing, it's like, oh man, if I could have remembered that, then I could have talked about the game room, because they do the West Marches style. So I would say, if you're interested in running that, just anybody else watching this, find some live streams. I've actually noticed a lot of live streams do a West March style rather than a solid campaign, especially ones that have a large community. So it's like, hey, I need 5 players today. Who's on the priority list? You guys come on in.
Yeah.
So you can play D&D regularly without having to commit to it, which is always a good feeling.
Yeah,
it's a good system. But it's a good system for like some laid back D&D.
I guess when it gets closer to being started, we'll bring Kev back to talk about his West Marches.
I will proffer this one hint. It is part of a critically acclaimed game. And that's all I'll say.
Yes, if you haven't noticed now by Kevin's games, they are all based on something. And this one is based off something that actually really fits. Like, it actually probably makes a really good setting for a West Marches.
I will say I have seen my friends play this game, and I've looked at them because some of them are players in games that I've DM'd for them. I'm like, it's very brave and sexy of you to just play that in front of me.
I would not say anymore, but yeah, I'll leave that just there.
Yeah, and also something that, just another thing I mentioned, you don't just make these worlds either. You continue building on them like a lot of us do with our campaign worlds, because I noticed in a Discord chat between you and I think Michelle, who's another friend of ours, that our Naruto campaign is in the same world as their previous one, just a different part of it.
That's right.
So it's just like, oh, okay, he already had this ready to go, but now he's twisting and turning it for new twists.
Yes, I love making world settings, just in case,
Me, it's like, what setting is your campaign in, Dallas? What world do you think it's in? Sure, I have like 6 of them, but this is the main one. So
the Sharky Cinematic Universe.
The Sharky Cinematic Universe. But yeah, I can't wait for it. I can't wait for it, Kev. I'm actually very excited. I might hop on into that one. Especially since I don't get to play with the game room a lot. Like, I wish I really could. I love my Kobold over there, but I do have to let the other players have their tier list and all that.
So, oh yeah, I will say, we probably might not record just yet, but if everyone gets comfortable with it, then we'll probably maybe incorporate some of that here and there.
Yeah. Bring all your friends in, Kev. Get yourself a large player pool.
Oh, that's my plan.
Kevin's just gonna like reach out to other friends that like we don't know, and it's like, you're gonna come play D&D with us.
Come play D&D, please.
I might know people who might be interested as well, and they're good people because I know them.
Fantastic.
Adopt all the players.
But, this will be very, very fun.
It will be very, very fun. And the thing about games like that is that you can have multiple DMs. So if somebody else in your world like feels like they understand it, it's like, hey, I'm gonna run a thing or a session.
Oh yeah, so, we actually we just finished setting up roles actually for like possible more GMs to run things and missions. So
yeah. So
it'll be fun. It'll be fun.
It will be fun, and hopefully the content that you guys watch, not only on this channel but also over at Dummies and D20s, is always entertaining for you all. That's all we really set out to do. That's why we kind of sucked in all of our nerves and decided to even start recording our D&D. It's just like, hey, we're going to put out something. We love playing D&D together. We want to entertain people, so that's what we're going to try to do. So if you're looking to start a channel like that, just do it. Like, it might not be the cleanest when it comes to editing, but like us, we just dove into it. This is our first series, so we're just shooting for the moon on it.
Just keep throwing buckshot and seeing what sticks with the tags.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, because eventually somebody will come around and like the content, and then they'll be like, oh hey, look, these guys have like a year and a half of backlog. So
and they'll tell their friends, and then we explode. Yep.
And then it's a snowball. So I guess
started.
It is.
Mm-hmm.
I remember like just on one more thing before we finish up, like just watching the first like few episodes, and it was like, hey, we've been playing for a while. We're going to start recording on this session, and it was like 40 people in the chat. Mm-hmm. Like, it was people who knew who these voice actors were. It wasn't even like people who knew D&D. It was just like, oh, Matt Mercer's playing, or Liam O'Brien's playing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was literally like someone described it to me because I saw someone talking about it on like a very small video of like, oh yeah, it's Leon Kennedy playing with Gaara from Naruto and like all these other characters. I was like, oh cool, I know who Roy Mustang is. Yeah, I'll watch him.
Street Fighter and Chun-Li.
Yeah.
I mean,
and that chick from The Last of Us.
They had such a low number of viewers that like they were getting like the food order in that one episode. It's like, hey, one of your viewers bought you guys food. You try to do that with the viewer base they have now.
Yeah, we have too much food.
A truck showing up.
Yeah. Whole food truck.
But I remember like the first few episodes too, they tried like doing the community like dice thing. Where it's like, hey, you can do like a vote or like do a certain thing to like change the game in a way.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember them talking about
several thousands of people.
Yeah, I remember them talking about that, and it's like, there are too many of you now, we have to stop. So it's just that organic growth though. Like just it probably helps that there are professionals and they're wonderful at what they do. But just that idea of, hey, we can sit here and play D&D started a huge snowball.
It really did.
It's like the same energy of when Let's Play started. I keep talking about this on these shows, but like when Let's Play started, it was small and then just kind of like exploded, where everybody's now doing like a Let's Play, and it's within the last like few years. D&D was the same way. It's like, this worked, everybody's doing an actual play. So it's a really cool trend. Just as long as more people get to play D&D, man, it's kind of what I need. I need more tabletops. So.
They're a passion.
They are a passion, and they're a great fucking time killer too. Like
truly
sitting around.
Very
like,
true.
Man, I got nothing to do Thursday night. Oh, you guys running D&D? All right, I'm in. So, but yeah, a little less of a, more, I guess, information like intensive episode like we've had recently with like, the creative writing or how to be a VTuber or even the game development side with Fanon, which thank you for that response too on that Fanon video. That was awesome. It was awesome having them to talk about game development and stuff like that. But hope you all still enjoyed. Once again, subscribe to this channel, subscribe to Dummies and D20s. Don't really have a lot of social media stuff for Kev, so really the only place you can really follow him is Dummies and D20s.
Dummies and D20s, yep.
Because we can't bring all of you guys into our Discord servers. There'll be too many people. So
Yeah.
You'll see me around, I'm sure.
We'll see you around. And you won't always see him here in his buttery goodness. He'll have a hopefully a character portrait for when we play.
Oh yeah.
So, but Deca, anything you want to say?
The 10 will of Call of Another Deep will come out. I can't believe I've gotten to 10 episodes. Woo!
Ooh.
We are about a solid like third into the game at this point. And I'm gonna dramatically slow down the pace from where we are right now because this is the big hub city. So I want them to run around and explore it instead of, here's the main quest, guys, follow the main quest.
Yes, spend some time power leveling.
Spend some time running around town. We'll see about power leveling. I have specific breakpoints from when they level up, so we'll see about that.
That's right.
But yeah, that'll be coming out on Monday. We'll be recording the 11th episode on Saturday. And yeah, I'm excited to see where my players go.
Yeah, and watch that because there won't be Naruto stuff for 2 weeks. Sorry about that. So watch Call of Another Deep. But all right, guys. I guess that will be it. So yeah, we'll see you guys next week. We'll try to figure out who we'll have on that show. I think we need to start reaching out to more people again. I think we've run through our list of planned guests, so it's like, shit, we need to go through the Rolodex again. But thank you all for coming to watch. As always, I'm SharkyHat, joined by Decavolty, and this has been our friend Kevin, aka Butter GM, and we'll see you guys next time. Take care, everybody.
Later.
Bye.